Hello, and welcome to the base, big and small screens. Today, today I'd like to talk to you about Cube, not the original Cube movie, which I talked about in one of the first videos for big and small screens that I did on this channel. I believe it was one of the first five. Um, Not that one. I want to talk about the Cube 2021 remake, which is a Japanese remake that was made of the original. Uh, I finally got a chance to track it down and be able to watch it. It is a little difficult to watch. Um, it is not on many streaming platforms. I believe you can rent it if you have access to Amazon Prime Video on their .com version of the website. Um, So you might be able to watch it there. I don't know. I'm sure you're able to find a way to watch it uh, legally wherever you are. Uh, so, however you do, give that a shot because Cube 2021 is, I say Cube 2021, but it's just Cube. It's the remake. It is well worth watching. If you are a fan of the original Cube, uh, or Hypercube, Cube 2, or Cube Zero, if you are a fan of any of those, then I think you will like the remake. It absolutely takes that core premise from the original Cube movie of a bunch of strangers waking up in a cube shaped room with doors on in the center of all four walls, as well as the center of the ceiling and the floor. And they are able to open the doors and get through into other cube shaped rooms that are exactly the same. And some of these rooms have traps in them. And one of the ways that they learn to figure out is by taking a shoe and a length of shoelace and tossing the shoe in. And if it doesn't set off a trap, then they can pull it back and enter. And that works most of the time, but sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes things get tricky. And yeah, you end up running into this group of people. There is a. Oh, God. I'm not going to be able to remember the names of the characters. Um, we basically have our main character, who is, I think, Goto. I think either his last or his first name is Goto. Um, he is our main character. Then there is another fellow who is playing, who is a convenience store clerk. And then there is a young boy who is not very verbal for a lot of the film. Doesn't have a lot of lines, and when he does speak, it's very haltingly. There is a man that has a goatee and uh, rather like wild, unkempt hair, walking around barefoot, and he's the one that is shows them the technique of finding the traps. And then there is a woman who shows up, and a little later on, an old man. And it revolves around these group of strangers having no idea how they got there, having no idea why they're there, figuring out how and why they're there, and navigating this space, trying to survive. They don't know why they're here, why these traps are here. And the whole premise of the movie is really based around that. Now, I haven't spoiled anything about the movie. That's literally the movie. It's a lot of that. Where the real meat and potatoes comes from is the character interaction between these characters. And there's a lot done here. I'm a fan of the original Cube. I'm a fan of Cube Zero. Cube 2 Hypercube is it's a little hit or miss. It does some things. They use a lot of CG special effects and stuff. It's kind of silly at points, but the original one's pretty good. I am a fan of Cube Zero for some of the stuff it does there. But this new one, I am a big fan of because of the character drama that gets brought up. Now, spoiler free beyond that point, I'm going to say if I had to give this a ranking out of 10, this is a 9 out of 10, 9.5. Um, yeah, there's a couple of minor things which prevent me from giving it like a full 10 out of 10. Just minor little quibbles that I would have liked to see. Um, but otherwise, this movie is great. Uh, Go see it, track it down, check it out if you can. Uh, Now that that's out of the way, let's delve into spoiler territories for a little bit because I want to talk about this more. When it comes to the spoilers, definitely a content warning. Oh, wait, no. Hmm. Yeah. I will put a message about the content warning just before the spoiler part. I probably should have done that. Anyways, there is a content warning on this particular movie, uh, that being suicide and child abuse, because those are two things that come up in this. Um, you don't actually see the child abuse, uh, it is implied and hinted at, and the suicide you do see kind of happening, but the actual like moment of it is not exactly caught. Like it's not gory, but it is part of the characterizations because our main character in this show, Goto, is a man who absolutely blames himself for the death of his younger brother, who died via suicide because he was being abused by their father. And Goto, having survived through that, obviously is traumatized and was unable to help, like, give his brother the help that was needed. Like, I can absolutely see where the character is blaming himself, but I don't think, like, me as a viewer can foster that blame onto him. Like, both were traumatized in different ways, and the Goto just could not, like, was not in a position to help his younger brother because there is a definite possibility that the people are in the cube because of sins they have committed, sins, um, that they are there to be punished. And this is brought up by the characters. They wonder if this is part of it. Um, the the young boy who is absolutely definitely very very quiet. You find out that he was also abused, uh, which is why he is not showing any trust towards any of the adults for a lot of the movie, but ends up slowly trusting Goto. And those two have towards the end of it, get a firm bond. And together they are uh, like almost making themselves whole again. And it is quite a good a good thing going on. The cube itself, the sets of the interior is quite well constructed, and it looks like vaguely futuristic. They do a lot of interesting things with lighting where the characters start getting agitated and the lighting will suddenly either gradually change or suddenly just shift to a different color to like highlight that impact and highlight that emotion. The sound design is great in this movie. It is quite well done. I'm a big fan of everything that they're doing in it. And there's some stuff that I'm not going to spoil, um, in terms of who lives and who dies. Just not going to spoil that. That's up for you to watch it and find out. But it is quite interesting how everything plays out. There's a couple of things that I absolutely called early on, um, but overall, it's pretty good. There's also a bit, um, a couple of times where we see it looks like almost a computer matrix sort of thing. Um, that pops up in brief, like cutaways, during a couple of tense moments, and you don't find out what that is in relation to until the very end. Um, but it made me kind of suspect like a higher tech than what was out there, because we don't see much about what's out there except in some flashbacks through Goto's memories, and those flashbacks don't really lend to a futuristic look. It looks more like modern day. So this futuristic tech um, might be coming from aliens perhaps or something else. We don't know. There's no explanation. It's just the single movie. Everything is contained in it, and I think that mystery only heightens what is key to this thing. Like that mystery of why they're doing it. It is there is an implied answer as to why it's doing it towards the end. There's absolutely that implied answer, but there isn't a definitive answer. It is not called out. And I think that was a good thing. So yeah, uh, that's going to be it for this episode of The Base. Thank you all so much for watching. As always, if you like what I'm doing, please give that like button a tap. Give that subscribe button a tap as well if you haven't already, so you can be kept apprised of when I do new videos. And leave a comment down there in the comment section about what sort of weird horror movies you think I might like. Maybe a Japanese one, because I don't mind checking those out. They can be very interesting. Japanese cinema goes places that Western cinema does not sometimes, and they do it in interesting ways. So please throw a comment down there in the comment section. I always love hearing from people. Otherwise, stay safe, do your self care, hydrate, and all that good stuff. And until next time, I will see you around. I completely flubbed this up. I flubbed up this ending. Anyways, you all take care, stay safe, and I'll see you next time.